Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of WWEvening. I'm Anderson Miller, the host of the Stone podcast, and as you may know by now, I have a weekly segment I'm doing strictly on wrestling because I am a diehard wrestling fan, and I never get to talk about it except for some of my friends. But I think it's cool to branch out, use this platform, maybe find some more people out there who are just as into wrestling as I am. Now, I will say, if you guys saw the little video I posted this past Sunday, Dimitri and I were not able to do our scheduled podcast. We were very upset about that. But, life happens and we're still getting back into the groove of this. We've got a lot of other things going on. And I did mention in a little video that I posted explaining to you guys that we weren't doing this, that we are going to be having a certain episode with special guests. Well, I have ultimately decided against that whole idea. So the whole idea was we were going to talk a little bit about wrestling this past week, SummerSlam predictions, but we are going to really talk about Hulk Hogan and his career. Obviously, everyone's aware of why he's become such a controversial figure in the world of wrestling, but just as a pop culture icon, he really exposed some not so favorable parts of his personality and his mindset. And it really tarnished his legacy. And it's really unfortunate because I will say, and no one can deny this, he is one of the most, if not the most influential character that entered wrestling. If you look at the things that he not only accomplished, but the things that he helped create that are a part of what the product is today, it's really hard to say that we aren't thankful for that aspect of him. But I'm one of those people that easily separates the art from the artist. I still really like Michael Jackson's music. I grew up listening to Michael Jackson. That's never going to change. Do I think he did some pretty messed up things? Yeah. Do I think that me listening to his music supports that? No, I don't. I listen to his music. I enjoy listening to it, and that's it. It's enclosed in that space. I've always separated the art from the artist, and it makes life a lot simpler. It really does. I understand people that oh, I don't support this person. I'm never going to listen to this or watch any of these movies. Fine, you do you. That's not me. I don't agree with people's decisions all the time and the things they may do or but nonetheless, if I like music, if I like a TV show or a movie or whatever it may be, I like it and I'm going to enjoy it, and that's that. I mean, how many people are still watching that 70s show despite what Danny Masterson definitely did, right? I mean, he got convicted. Are we boycotting the entire series of that 70s show? No. Maybe some people are, but point being, I decided it was not a good idea to do that, at least right now. Maybe when things have simmered down, but his passing has become such a controversial topic because of how people are. I actually do have a little bit of an issue with this. I don't think it's fair or even right to come after people for how they are choosing to mourn the passing of Hulk Hogan, even down to his daughter. Are we in the house? Are we under the roof where things have happened or went down? No. Are we pretty sure that he wasn't such a good person? Yeah. Imagine that being your dad, and obviously his relationship with Nick was very different from Brooke. So I think it's kind of messed up that everyone's going after her and this mob mentality. Let everyone do their thing. Everyone handles grief differently. Everyone mourns differently. Do what's good for you and move on. Just worry about yourself. I don't understand using this as a tool to come after people. I just doesn't seem right. And at the end of the day, it's never a good thing that someone dies. Life is very valuable and important, and I'm never going to celebrate the death of anything or anyone. And that's just that. So, with that being said, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. I do thank you for everything you did for industry that has entertained me since I was a child and will the rest of my life. And I recognize your contributions and I appreciate them. So thank you. And that gets me into talking about wrestling since my last episode. I'm going to be straight with you guys. I don't have a schedule for this. I keep thinking that I do, but today's Thursday. And I'm pretty sure last week I told you I was doing this on Wednesdays. And then before that, it was Tuesdays. And I think it's just going to be whenever I feel like I need to come on here and talk about it. That's what I'm going to do. And it'll probably range between Tuesday and Thursday. Maybe when I have people that are wanting to get on and talk to me in the live chat, I'll kind of lock in a certain time and day of the week so they know when to look for it. But right now, most of my audience is after I post this, which is fine, you know. But yeah, I still got to figure it out. So I'm also in the middle of changing my careers for my day job. So my schedule is kind of out of sorts right now and probably will be for another week or so. But either way, I'm still going to be doing this episode every week. So no worries there. So with wrestling since my last episode, I'm not going to talk about every show every day. I told you guys I would try. I gave it a fair shot. I have watched all of the wrestling Monday through Friday. So Monday Night Raw, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday AEW Dynamite, Thursday TNA Impact, Friday SmackDown. And then any PLEs or pay-per-views. I've watched it all for the past 3 weeks consistently. And yeah, it's kind of difficult to do, but it's also not too hard to keep up with if you want to do it. I'm going to be honest, I don't. I am falling off heavily on basically anything that isn't WWE. And it's not just because I'm a diehard WWE fan. It's just because I think, you know, I value my free time. I don't like sitting down and watching things unless it's like a really good movie or TV show or wrestling. And with that being said, if I'm going to sit down and just devote my time to watching a screen, I want it to be good and primarily good. AEW and TNA just don't deliver for me. And I can say that confidently now watching 3 weeks consistently. I'm picking up on storylines. I'm very familiar with AEW's talent, and a lot of the storylines are very similar to things they were doing when I fell off. So it's not like I haven't had enough time. It's just, it's like wash and repeat, you know, or rinse, wash, repeat, whatever it is. It's just, I don't know. It all feels like repetitive bull crap. And that's specifically with AEW. They don't explore their roster. They don't try to bring up new people. I mean, you'll see new people and they'll be implemented in these matches randomly, but they don't mean anything. They don't go anywhere. And there's way too much focus on people that I don't think deserve it. You know, I don't really understand it unless it's just they're standing with the company or the fact that they're making more than the other people like Edge or Adam Copeland, however you want to refer to him. He's not really delivering for me. You know, it's not working. It wasn't working when I was still watching. He debuted. I was excited at first, and then they just kind of, I don't know, whatever pay-per-view that was where he jumped off the cage and broke his ankle. I think that's actually the last pay-per-view I paid for AEW. So whatever that was. But yeah, I don't know. It's AEW is just, and I'll get into that. I'll talk about what I did and didn't like a little bit. I'm not going to break down every match or anything like that because I really want to spend most of my time talking about SummerSlam, the match card for Saturday and Sunday as it is right now. We still have Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow, which who knows what could be thrown at us. I do have some things I think would be cool if they added, but we'll see. We're already getting a lot of wrestling, so I'm not complaining at all. But yeah, I'd really like to break that down, talk about my theories, talk about some theories I've heard from listening to other podcasts, because there's some interesting ones out there. So yeah, I'm gonna spend most of my time doing that. So really quick, I'll go over wrestling, and then going forward, guys, I'm gonna be primarily WWE. And WWE Evening, obviously, it's in my title. I'm just a WWE guy, is what it is. I don't like devoting a lot of time to watching TV, and I can't justify doing it unless it's really good. And I don't even watch NXT or SmackDown. I always like I've mentioned, I do recaps on TikTok. Shout out to Cine. I like his reactions, and he posts in a way where you can watch the thick of the shows. You get the gist of what's going on, and you can keep up with it. So yeah, it's primarily gonna be WWE for me. And if there's something I see or catch a whiff of, I'll point it out. But like obviously, I'm gonna talk about AAA really quick. Dominique Mysterio got one of the biggest, most legendary pops I've ever heard. That I mean, they actually released just the audio from that event, so you could hear it without commentators or anything like that. It's insane, man. That place. Whew, I knew he was over, but he's very over. Dominique is the fucking man. He's the man. It's hard to deny. And it's pretty crazy because, in WWE, he's been a heel for a long time. He's capable of some really impressive things in the ring, but because of his character, he's doing that whole, like, I'm a heel, I don't want to wrestle thing. So we haven't really seen that much from him. And I'll get back into that because that plays heavily into what I'm hoping to see with him and AJ Styles at SummerSlam. So yeah, the AAA, that was cool. I obviously just watched that part, but it is still pretty insane. So good for him. And he's definitely getting that championship. There's just no way he's not. All right. So, God, there's just so much to try to cover in such a little bit of time. Maybe I will start with, so today's Thursday, right? So I will start with SmackDown. No, sorry, I'll start with TNA last week. Yeah, that's what I'll do. All right, so I only have two things that I really want to talk about from TNA because I was kind of bored. If you guys watched my review of Slammiversary, I talk heavily about Joe Henry just being one of those gimmick wrestlers who doesn't really have anything else going for him past the catchy theme song and his shtick, like, and a lot of people aren't over it yet. I've been over it for a little bit. I was honestly over it before he appeared at WrestleMania. I mean, it was a cool moment. I didn't expect it, but I was still just thinking like, this will be a throwaway match, and it was, and that's fine. It's fair. They recognized that. It was a cool moment for the fans, especially the people that were in attendance. Um, and cool for him also, that's a great moment for his career. But I just am very much bored with his gimmick, and same with LA Knight, but I will get back into that. But anyway, so you have Joe Henry and then Mike Santana. He doesn't do anything for me. Never has. He's talented in the ring. Like, he is a talented performer. I don't care for his character. His promos to me are kind of weak. So him and Joe Henry being in a ring with Trick Williams, I was just like, dude, they have to keep Trick as the title holder, like, there's just no way. But I was scared because they already gave away their other title to WWE. So I'm like, there's no way they let both their world titles be with WWE, but they did. So yeah, really surprised me in a good way. But TNA last week, yeah, Joe Henry, Mike Santana, that was the big, like, fallout from Slammiversary. They're going to be in the ring, and I just didn't care. I barely paid attention to the match. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I will say they did do a tribute to Hulk Hogan. They actually opened the show with that, which was cool. Basically, all of wrestling had some kind of tribute or something to say about Hulk Hogan, and in a respectful way. And I think that's cool. It's really cool that he could be held in that light across multiple companies, even companies he didn't have anything to do with, like AEW. So it was cool to see that respect, and again, everyone's personal opinions and thoughts about it aside, it was good business to do that. He he as a character is a legend in the business, and he as a character needed to be held to that regard. He's not Chris Benoit, guys. All right, like there is a distinct difference. I've been seeing a meme about like Hulk Hogan and Chris Benoit cage match in hell, and I'm just like, he didn't murder his family, guys. Like he did say some messed up stuff, and he definitely doesn't seem like he was the best father and person in life in general. But as of now, we don't know of anything that serious. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. Um, but the other thing I wanted to comment was, I do like Eric Young's presence in TNA. That's cool for me. I I can say I only have liked Eric Young in TNA. When he came to NXT and they had the Insanity or whatever that was, besides the music being cool and the entrance, I just wasn't into it. It was playing way too much into that, like Eric Young's a nutcase thing, and it just didn't work for me. So, and obviously his whole run in WB just didn't work. I mean, it flopped, and it's cool to see him back in TNA and doing what he's doing. I like the whole like cleanse TNA thing. I thought that was kind of cool. Unfortunately, I'm just not seeing anything that's really making me want to tune in every week. That's what sucks. Like without Trick Williams, which when you watch the show, Trick Williams is one of the only exciting things besides like Moose and the Hardys, at least for me. And it's just not enough, without Trick there, it's like Joe Hendry's the man, I guess. He's kind of the face of TNA right now, but it should be Moose. Like Moose going after the title for Trick Williams, that's cool. Like I get that, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't think there was anything else. Oh, the system. You guys already know I don't like that faction. Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, so that's pretty much it with TNA. It was boring for me. Wasn't really into it. Sucks because I will admit the week before I was still pretty into it. I will say it might be one of those things where it's like, when they have a big pay-per-view that they're building up to or falling out from, they have like really good shows, kind of like WWE does. WWE has their kind of Raws. I've talked about that, or SmackDowns, but not as bad as TNA is. TNA just doesn't really have a lot going on right now. Honestly, watching it, I still feel like they're kind of hanging on by a thread. It's a weird feeling. It's really weird, but it's like they're always going to be that company that's surviving somehow. And I hope they can break that stigma. I was kind of thinking they had when I watched Slammiversary, but I'm just not getting that vibe watching, and I've watched 3 weeks consistently now. So, I probably will watch tonight's episode, and give it a nice final chance, but I just don't, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So that was TNA. Then we had SmackDown. SmackDown obviously had a 10-bell salute for Hulk Hogan. And honestly, it was kind of a SmackDown for me. The only thing that was really cool, actually, I'll talk about a couple of things. I sense something that we're not expecting is going to happen with Randy Orton Jelly Roll. And I'll get more into that when I'm talking about SummerSlam, but there's just something about Randy Orton. And it might just be the way he carries himself, and it's part of his whole gimmick in general, but you always feel like he might have this inkling of turning on somebody. And I got that vibe this past Friday. So I don't know. we'll see. We'll see what happens. And also their name should totally be Roll KO. I don't like the RK rule. I don't know. Roll KO just seems a little smoother, rolls off the tongue better. Um, yeah, the rest of the show is eh. I am turning around, and I can't believe I'm saying this, on Andrade and Ray Phoenix together as a tag team. I told you guys I was really not into it. You know, I wanted more for both of them as singles wrestlers. However, this whole what you want to call sorry, my freaking brain is vignette. these vignettes where they're both wearing suits. There's just something cool about a luchador in a suit. It just has like big boss feel to it, you know. And Ray Phoenix with his mask and having the suit, and then Andrade kind of being like his collector almost, you know, like his hitman. I don't know, like it's kind of working for me. It's a cool thing they're doing, and I like that they're kind of marketing that they're undefeated. They haven't been a team long enough for me to think that's anything special, but I like that they're saying something about it, because to me that means it might become a thing. So I don't know. It's kind of working for me. I'm kind of turning around on it, and I wanted to remark on that. Now, this whole tag team thing with SmackDown, it's been a thing for a long time. You know, the tag team division on SmackDown has been on fire consistently. I get a little bored with it, but then they find something new to do. So I'm here for it. I will say this match that Nick Aldis announced, because of the chaos that unfolded after the tag team match at the end of the show, I think it might be one of the biggest, craziest matches in wrestling this year. It has the potential. It is the 25th anniversary of the first TLC match, if I'm not mistaken on that. Someone might fact check me, but that's totally just me talking off the cup here. I think it's 25 years, 20 years or 25 years since the first TLC match, which makes me feel very old. But yeah, it's going to be insane. Like, you have all these tag teams and you're going to make it a TLC match. And I don't know why, but the fact that this arena for SummerSlam is open top, so it's going to have that outside feel. Like, the early part of the day, the matches will probably be, you know, kind of sunnier out and whatever. I think it'd be cool if this match happens in that time of day and we have like a TLC match that feels like it's outside. I don't know. I just think that could be really cool. But either way, this match is going to be insane. I can already tell you it'll probably be top 3 matches of the week, if not top match of the week, and if not one of the top matches of the year. I mean, if you look at the talent in these teams, and what's funny is, like, I don't care who wins. That's how good the tag team division, like, all of these teams, in my opinion, could deserve the tag team belts and could do a good job as champions. So it's just a match where I'm going to be sitting back and enjoying the whole thing, and I don't care what happens. And that's very rare. So yeah. And I'm kind of talking about SummerSlam, and I didn't want to yet, but yeah, this match announcement, I was just like, holy crap, man. So yeah, that's the only things I really want to talk about with SmackDown. Jacob Fatu and no. Yeah, Jacob Fatu and The Miz. I have to remark on that. The Miz returning, smacking the shit out of Jacob Fatu. That was crazy. Obviously, that match was going to be a throwaway match, but I'm kind of hoping we get a heel Miz solo run again, like just going after a title, or I don't know. That could be cool. I feel like I would appreciate that more now as an adult versus when I was in high school and I hated him on reality TV, and then he came into wrestling, and yes, I don't know. That'd be cool. And I feel like, despite anyone's opinion about him, he deserves it. He's been off the business for a long time. He's constantly delivered. He isn't really ever out on injury. I think he only misses wrestling for other projects, which is fine, because it makes it so when he is on TV, it's not like somebody we're seeing every week. So I don't know. Yeah, something with him could be cool. Um, and then that gets me to Raw this week. Boy. So obviously the show opened with a 10 bell salute to Hulk Hogan. There's been a lot of people remarking on this or that with SmackDown and Raw actually thinking that certain wrestlers didn't want to be there, and then certain wrestlers were showing disrespect by wearing sunglasses or by not having a shirt on. But I'm like, look, Uncle Howdy was out on the stage for SmackDown in full costume. I believe firmly that they were either A, not given early enough notice that they were doing it, especially for SmackDown, or B, they just were like, hey, you know what? Everyone knows this is a show, but we're taking a moment to step away from that and show our respect to a legend who has passed away in our industry. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't care about who was on the stage. I didn't care about what they looked like because that's not what it was about. So, if you're someone who is so worried about that, good for you. I don't know why it matters. I really don't. So yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say about that. So that was nice. For back to Raw, back on Raw. I don't know what all I really want to talk about, what I don't, honestly. I will say CM Punk and Gunther. I'm gonna go out of order here, but CM Punk and Gunther, I am not excited for the match, and I don't care who wins. So it's the complete opposite of the TLC tag match chaos that we're getting, right? Like, I'm excited for that, and I don't care who wins. That's a good thing. I'm not excited for this match. I don't care who wins. Like, CM Punk being my favorite wrestler, if he wins, I'm gonna just be like, okay, cool. But there's not enough heat. There's not enough excitement about it. It doesn't feel like he's gonna really be overcoming anything because him and Gunther just don't have a history. It's just like two guys who are in the business, and they just so happen to be in different points where they have to collide because of their own situations that got them to this point. Like they don't have any. So I feel like they've been trying to build something with, like, 2 weeks ago, you had Gunther do a mic drop because Punk was speechless. And this Monday, Punk just destroyed him on the mic. It's just like, okay, I'm still just not. And, that this past Monday was the last Raw before SummerSlam. And besides the ending of the night, which was crazy, and I'm excited to talk about that, the whole show was just like my excitement for matches as far as Raw is concerned didn't really change. And being honest, I'm not really excited for any of the Raw contributions to SummerSlam. And it's pretty sad. I I hate saying that because that even means like the match with Jay and Roman and the Bronze, but like I just I don't know. I'll get into it. I'll get into it when I talk about SummerSlam. So let's see. Um Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria. I am so bored with this. I don't know if anyone else is. I'm just so bored with it. I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be. I don't know. I'm trying to make myself excited about it, honestly. Like, I get what they're doing with Becky having the belt. It's bringing a little bit more prestige to it, making it a little bit more valuable. Um, but I feel like trying to make Becky a heel and Lyra not, and I don't think it's been working. And I feel like even backstage, they're like trying to figure out who is what, what's who. neither of them really get a lot of reactions, and I've seen them at a live show recently at Raw, and I'm telling you, they don't get a lot of reactions either way. It's just very wishy washy. The whole thing, I feel like this story just isn't working. And I feel like Becky turning heel wasn't the right move, possibly. I think Lyra would have been a perfect heel because I know like her theme music is over, like everyone wants to go woo in her entrance, but then like she doesn't really do much with the crowd afterwards. The little spin and talk about her shoes, that was not her. That was very out of character for her character as a wrestler. And that right there just kind of tells me that they're trying different things, trying to find something. And I think that thing is her being a heel. I think her trying to be this baby face that's going to beat the big bad Becky Lynch and get the title. But it's not really working, at least for me. And I feel like a lot of people would probably agree. So yeah, that's that. Now one thing that came out of Raw that was actually a very pleasant surprise: AJ Styles, Kairi Sane, and Asuka versus Dominique, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez. Now, as you guys know, I have been becoming a big fan of Raquel Rodriguez. She's been really showing her potential as a character on top of, being a wrestler, which I always knew she was talented, but like that's just one part of this business. And she's starting to really come into her own for the other, boxes that you need to check off to be a main player. So I've been enjoying her work. Roxanne Perez is doing what she needs to do. I'm fine with that. Obviously, Dominique Mysterio is the fucking man right now. And AJ Styles, Kairi Sane, and Asuka being together, that just seemed weird to me. And I was like, okay, this match is going to be some bull crap. I actually really enjoyed it. And not only that, I really enjoyed AJ Styles with Kairi Sane and Asuka. I liked them as a team. That was interesting and something I wouldn't mind seeing more of. And I would say, well, I don't know how they can make a story with that or whatever. It's right here. I mean, they have this match. It was kind of out of nowhere, kind of made sense, with the matches we're getting at SummerSlam, obviously, but it still just felt a little forced, but I liked it, and I could see them building off of this past SummerSlam maybe. So we'll see. But either way, I really enjoyed the match. It surprised me. And that will lead me into the end of the night. So obviously the big match that was being advertised was Jey Uso, Bronson Reed. First off, I don't know what's going on with Paul Heyman. His promos, as of late, have not been working for me. I'm not going to say anything past that right now because I know him being the mastermind he is. He does certain things to show how whoever he is currently backing when they are not with him, how it affects him. So like when Roman was gone for a long time after WrestleMania, he started getting gray and white hairs and he looked terrified all the time and he had big puffy bags under his eyes. And then Roman came back and he had his hair dyed again and he looked great. Like stuff like that. Like he really gets into his character. It's method acting at its finest. So I'm hoping that's what this is. Like Seth's gone. He's not really sure like how to handle things without Seth because Seth is the architect. Paul is not. And he's not the wise man anymore either, right? So I'm hoping that's what's going on, but it's just been weird. And him and Jay going back and forth didn't work for me because Jay's having this weird like I'm probably turning heel thing going on, and he's acting weird in the ring and doing his whole like I can't talk and I'm gonna cuss and I don't know. So it was weird. It was awkward. But either way, we'll see what happens. I'll talk more about Jey Uso and all that for the SummerSlam card. But I will say the match with Bronson was pretty decent. It was a good match. If I had to rate it, I don't like rating matches, but I'd give it like a B minus, maybe like C plus, B minus. It was okay. nothing special. I knew it wasn't going to end normal, right? Like we knew Roman was there. He's going to come out and do something. Now, here's what surprised me, and I've talked about this before. Braun Breaker now has 4 spears on Roman Reigns, I believe. I believe before it was 3, now he has 4. We have not seen Roman Reigns spear Braun Breaker, and that is on purpose. So, like the Monday prior where Jay and Roman both speared Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, Jay Uso got Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns got Bronson Reed. I thought it was going to happen. So they're doing this on purpose, and it's great. It's working for me. When Roman came out to help Jay when he's getting beat down from Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, obviously Jay won the match by disqualification. They don't even care. When Roman came down, first off, he was taking I don't get like people coming out to save somebody and they take their sweet time coming down the ramp. I don't know why that's becoming a thing, but it's comical, but also just like, okay, come on, get down there. But Roman finally gets down there and does this thing. When him and Jay are outside the ring and he does this, I was like, wait a minute. He's on the side of the ring where if he goes around it, he's going to spear Braun Breaker and Jay's going to get Bronson Reed. And I was like, holy crap, we're actually going to see Roman spear Braun Breaker. And then he didn't. Not only that, Braun Breaker laid in one of the sickest spears. I mean, I know every time we see a spear, like, oh, that's the sickest one yet, but like, it was nasty. And, Bronson Reed did his thing with Jey Uso, and they came out on top. Now, the crazy thing was Braun Breaker speared Jey Uso and Roman Reigns at the exact same time through the freaking barricade. The nastiest spear ever. I mean, it was so sick, and it's just all of the components. He did his full run and charge up around the ring at super high speed. You got 2 big dudes, both sold the fuck out of it. And of course, the barricade breaking just adds to it. That's that extra little touch that just makes it like, holy shit, that was a wrecking ball. But God, and then he does this whole like, getting his water out of his ears thing, and that was insane. But then you got Bronson Reed. I don't know what people thought about this, but when I saw him come down and take Roman Reigns' shoes off his feet, I was like, that's some shit they do in prison, like that. So that was interesting. And also I have to remark on how Braun Breaker stole Roman Reigns' promo of like, that's my camera, this is my ring, So that was interesting. So I guess they're just kind of allowing Braun Breaker to assume the role of Seth Rollins in this faction in his time out, which is interesting to me. I'm surprised they didn't have a little bit of tension between him and Bronson Reed over that. But it is what it is. So, yeah, that was a pretty crazy ending to Raw for sure. And let me go and check my time here. Yeah, I've spent a lot more time talking about wrestling than I wanted to. Wrestling over the past week. And then I will talk about Dynamite this week really quick. I mean, sorry, not this week. I did not watch it this week. This was last week. I should have started with this. But let me explain why AEW has just completely lost me again. And I didn't watch last night, but I did see a highlight, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I was watching last week and immediately was happy because it was like they listened to my podcast. Adam Hangman Page opens the show. He's doing this thing where he's walking backstage, and I can't remember where they've been for the past couple, but I like where they're filming because the backstage area just looks really cool and unique and kind of like rough and grungy. But he's walking, he comes out to the ring, and it's for a match. And I was like, okay, that's cool. It was a totally different way to open up AEW. We see, hold on one second. So we see that and everything. And the match was with Wheeler Yuta. Sorry, I was trying to remember because I had this week's AEW match card up and I just realized I didn't even watch it. So don't need that. But yeah, Wheeler Yuta, and it was a freaking great match. I mean, Wheeler Yuta is one of those guys just very underutilized, in my opinion, in AEW. He's always just like an assassin in whatever group he's in. He never gets to be the front man. He's a guy that I think if he came to NXT, got a repackage, and if everything was done right, he could be a big deal. I really believe that. He is very, very talented, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Seems to be pretty happy with where he's at, and I guess it's working for him. You know, he gets to be in factions with some pretty big names. But that match was awesome. It was a great way to open the show. I was like, okay, this is turning around. This is way better than last week where we got the chat GBT hero speech, blah, 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 blah. And they were advertising a match that totally no-sold their main event from All In Texas. You know, like that was a big gripe I had. So we have this match. AEW continues. The rest of the night was I won't say I wasn't entertained, but there was just something missing for me. I did like the Hurt Syndicate and MJF's little thing backstage. Nick Wade had another promo with his mom, and it's just like that's not working for me. I already griped about that. It felt like a wash, rinse, repeat of the week prior. You know, like it's like this isn't working for me. Why am I getting this 2 weeks in a row? It's boring. Whatever. The Young Bucks couldn't care less. Really couldn't care less. I don't even remember what match it was during or what promo it was. But, you know, in the little corner where they like to say later tonight, they advertised Adam Hangman Page versus Wheeler Yuta still to come tonight in the middle of the freaking show. And I'm like, okay, this is a minor thing, right? Sure. But what bothered me about that more than it probably should have at the time is that I didn't know what was coming next because that replaced whatever should have been there. And I feel like they should have just like slid up, you know. So like throughout the rest of the night, it was like they would tell you about still to come tonight, but then it was the next match. Or it really ticked me off. And that's been one of my biggest gripes with AEW, aside from everything else, is just the overall production quality. And I just it bothers me, whether it's the backstage segments where you hear the cameraman counting down and everyone's getting into character, you know, it still just sucks. Like, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. It makes me mad for the talents that are there. Like, I know they're getting good paychecks, but I just feel like a lot of them are so passionate and invested in this industry to where they should be on a bigger platform where they're getting treated with the respect they deserve. And I'm telling you right now, whatever match was supposed to be there instead of Adam Page versus Wheeler Yuta, that was disrespect to those performers. Like, that was not allowing the proper, because I didn't know the card for that night, right? I have just been tuning in and watching wrestling. That's what I've been doing. So I've been pleasantly surprised by whatever's happening. And you're telling me a match is coming later that already happened? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know. It just really bothered me. And I got this chip on my shoulder with AEW. You know, I've been to the live events. I watched it religiously for over 2 years. And I've noticed a trend with them, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't gone away, no matter what big stadium they've oversold or what accomplishments they've made. It just doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's being run by a guy who doesn't really know what the frick he's doing. And you're pushing the same people over and over again because you're all best friends and you started this company together, and you have a roster full of talent where you throw enough money at them that they just hang out, but they don't get opportunities. Ricky Starks, who is now Ricky Saints, is my favorite example of that, because he's been very open about it. He was sitting around for months not being used on TV, and everyone assumed, oh, maybe he's injured or maybe they're building up to something. No, he was just as up in the air about it as we were. He had no idea. There was no contact. There was no conversations. He was fine. He was ready to go. So he was just collecting money and doing whatever he wanted. It's just like I can only imagine how many people have a contract with AEW, and that is the scenario. That is the situation. I just, yeah. So it's not doing enough for me to want to tune in every week and devote my time to it. So I'm not. I'm just not. And if you have a problem with that, it's fine. You don't have to tune in and watch me. But that's just my opinion with AEW. And like I said, TNA I think is just still suffering that whole like fighting to survive thing. They just can't seem to get away from that, unfortunately. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and talk about SummerSlam now. I did want to mention the one thing from AEW Dynamite last night: the concerto that was completely botched by Nick Wade and his twin brother. I can't remember that guy's name, but Christian comes out, he's doing his whole thing. They attack him, and the way they lifted him up with the chairs is pretty cool. Like that was cool, but then they just totally botched it. And the amount of botches like that happen in AEW are so bad. Again, I've been to live shows. I've been to WWE and AEW several times, and I'm telling you right now, it happens more with AEW. It just does. Just from my personal experience, and then seeing the highlights on the internet, it's just like, man, and I think it's just because they know they don't have to care. They're all getting buku money, and they don't even have to work. There's literally wrestlers that just sit at home and collect a paycheck, and they're perfectly fine. I just, anyways, AEW. All right. So yeah, SummerSlam. I'll just go ahead and give my predictions, and if I have any theories or things I've heard about, I will talk about that. I'm going to use CBS Sports. They have both nights broken down. I don't think we have any official order to the matches as of right now. If we do, great. I will just talk about them as they are listed on CBS Sports and go from there. Now, I will say, let me double check this for night one because I had a theory about night one. Yeah, okay, yep. So the first match listed on CBS Sports for SummerSlam, night one, is the World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther and CM Punk. I could actually see this match opening the show. I could. I don't want it to. I really don't because I'm not excited for this match. I would like to open with a match that I am excited about. So I would kind of like for this to be a mid-card match, honestly. If it's the main event, that's not going to really work for me. It's not going to be a great way to end a first night, but I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm a CM Punk guy. I will always support anything he does, and I'm going to watch it and see what happens, but I'm just not feeling the excitement about it. If I can be honest, I kind of want Gunther to win, just because I don't think CM Punk winning right now. Well, like I said, I don't think it'll really be worth anything. Like him winning at WrestleMania would be awesome. And especially if it's against like Seth Rollins, right? Like if Seth Rollins cashed in on Gunther after he wins and becomes the champion, now Punk is going to see his arch enemy, his arch nemesis with the world heavyweight title. Like, and that's if this whole Seth Rollins thing does work and whatever. There's a lot of theories about that, but so that would be cool because that's what I want. I want Punk versus somebody that he has this history with, or or even something new that we can build up to. But there just hasn't been enough time, and Gunther, he's very talented. He is not a character for me that really excites me. He's just kind of a for me. It is what it is. I don't think he's great with promos. I think his character is way too stiff and plain, especially for this day and age. I just, it doesn't work for me. He's just like the typical evil out of country guy who's got our title, and it is what it is. But yeah, CM Punk could have a way bigger, better match where him winning the title would just feel like it means something. So I'm hoping. I guess I'll say right now, I'm hoping he loses this match. And it would be great if he just gets like choked out or something. I don't want him to get pinned. Now, the next match they have listed is the WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. I'm actually kind of excited about this match, mainly because Tiffany Stratton hasn't really been going up against anybody that I've been like, oh, okay, like this match could cook. As soon as we realized that Jade Cargill was going for the title, I was like, oh, if it's her and Tiffany Stratton, that could be a good match. So that's what we're getting. I'm excited for it. I don't want Jade Cargill to win yet. I think a little bit more time building her up as a solo competitor, getting a feud with somebody. Maybe she turns heel. I love Jade Cargill being like someone who's just all about herself and doing what she has to do, which is very heel-ish. Kind of more like how she was in AEW. That could be great. But if she wins, that'll also be well deserved. She's been putting in a lot of work, especially since coming to WWE. So either way, I'll be okay with the outcome. But I think this match will be really good. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I'm excited for this because I think this match will have some like highlight moments for sure. We're definitely going to get a crazy RKO from Randy Orton to Logan Paul. And it'll be some spot where Logan Paul is doing a crazy leapfrog or, something crazy. And Randy Orton's going to catch him in midair. I can't wait for that because that's always fun. And then outside of that, Drew McIntyre is back in the United States. He officially posted on his Twitter last night for any of you who've been paying attention to that. He lost his passport. He got stuck out of country, was worried he would not make it to SummerSlam, but all is good and all is right with the world. So I'm also curious to see Jelly Roll in the ring. We've been hearing about how he's been living in Florida, training at the PC. So I'm kind of curious to see him do some actual wrestling or something more than just a lariat or a choke slam or pushing. I guess he did get a good punch in too on Logan Paul. He knocked him out. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But Randy Orton, just if him and Jelly Roll win, which I feel like they will, I feel like this is like a feel good thing. Like Jelly Roll lost 100 pounds. He's been training. He's going to come in here and show Logan Paul he's not just another celebrity trying to get in the business. I could see them winning, and then for Randy Orton RKO, I want Randy Orton becoming a heel. I want it so bad. I want heel Randy Orton, like 09 Orton, but like in this version of Orton where he is just freaking jacked and ready to like tear people apart. I mean, he's got the same physical presence as Brock Lesnar now. Just he's a beast, and I think him as a heel, that'd be terrifying. So yeah. That's all I got to say about that, which was more than I thought. WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. As you guys know, I'm just not here for them as a tag team. And I'm definitely in the minority. I'm seeing a lot of people saying they really enjoy seeing Alexa Bliss bring out the more human side of Charlotte Flair and bringing more out of her character, blah, 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 blah. That's not working for me. Mainly because I've never been a Charlotte Flair fan, but I do enjoy her as a heel and kind of just staying in that lane. It's uncomfortable seeing her do anything else. It's a weird thing. It really is. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, she's just where she's at because of her last name. There are several people in history who have been very famous and had a son or a daughter who did not live up to their. So just having the name doesn't mean shit. She has the talent. She has the athletic capabilities. She got to where she is through hard work and dedication, and I can respect that. But there's just something about her trying to be a character in general that just has never worked for me. I don't know what it is. I did enjoy her in NXT, but after that, it's just been okay, yeah, Charlotte Flair, you will see a good match from her, but when it comes to her character, it's kind of like where I was with Raquel Rodriguez for a while. It's like I can acknowledge that she is a physical threat as a wrestler, and she's athletic and has these capabilities in that regard, but in the other boxes that you need to check, she wasn't doing it. And now Raquel Rodriguez is, but Charlotte Flair isn't for me. So yeah, obviously I'm hoping Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez win, and then maybe Alexa Bliss lets her inner demon out and she rips this thing up with Charlotte Flair once and for all. But I know fans are voting for them to win the titles and have this big feel good thing, and then Alexa acknowledges Charlotte as her actual friend. I don't know. It's not working for me. Now, the match that I want to be the main event, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. For one, you know this match is going to be way more than just a normal match. I don't see any way, shape, or form that the plan B that was teased weeks ago on Raw when Seth was out and Heyman was talking to him on the phone, and then Bronson was wanting to know what the plan was, and Braun Breaker comes in, he's like, "Oh, I've got a plan." He goes out and does his thing. I can't help but think that that plan has been cooking for a while now, and it's going to be a new member. And this might be a hot take. I think it would be sweet if it was LA Knight. For one, you have history with Jey Uso and LA Knight. So there's that dynamic you could play with. So much so, I kind of imagine like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed take out Roman Reigns, whatever. They put him through a table, whatever. Team up on Jey Uso. You see LA Knight coming out, and it's like, oh, we haven't seen him since Saturday night's main event when him and Seth Rollins had a match, and he beat Seth Rollins, blah, blah, blah. And Jay's like, yeah, you know, he's against these guys. And then he turns on Jey, and then they like hug or do a handshake or whatever. I have wanted to heel LA Knight for so long. It would totally revigorate his character for me. And I also think him being in place of Seth Rollins, who is out, if he's actually out and then this happened, that would be awesome, because then when Seth Rollins comes back, he's got the guy that beat him in his last match before he went out standing in his place. And that would build so much tension. I mean, I don't know. I think that could just be some great storytelling. It's something I would like. And what the fuck are they doing with LA Knight? We haven't even seen him. Like, I don't know what they're doing. So I'm kind of hoping they're doing that out of sight, out of mind. And then his music hits at SummerSlam. That place will pop. They think we're getting good old LA Knight. He's going to save the day. And then he turns heel. That'd be insane. So that's kind of what I'm wanting out of this match. And I think it'd be awesome. And we better see Roman Reigns spear Braun Breaker at some point during the match. Like, we need to see it. We need to get it out there. It needs to happen. My OTC, my tribal chief, cannot not just be out here not spearing the guy who's been spearing people and getting spearing highlight reels. Because you know what? Roman Reigns has one of the greatest spears in the business. And before Braun Breaker came in and started doing this thing, Roman Reigns' spear was the spear. So I just, it needs to happen. And also, I don't think Jey Uso should do any spears in this match. I think it should be a very special moment when Roman Reigns spears Braun Breaker. It should be like the first time we've seen a Samoan on the night spear somebody. Roman Reigns spears Braun Breaker. Big pop. It'd be awesome. So yeah, that's my little theory on this match. And I will talk about other theories that I've heard from other podcasts in a second. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. A lot of people are calling this a throwaway match. A lot of people are bored of this already. But then there's a lot of people that aren't. It's very divisive. I am on that side of the fence. I am a big fan of Karrion Kross. I have been since NXT days. I've always felt like they just need to find the right place for him. And I think this character that they have been cooking, like letting simmer for months, is finally getting taken out of the oven, and it is awesome, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to consume. I want all of this. I love the puppet master gimmick. I love him bringing out the worst in people. I love that when we think someone's gotten up on him and they walk away, he still gets a smirk. I love it. It's like he's got this plan, this greater plan that we're not even privy to yet. I'm very invested in it. And I would love for there to be a moment in this match where Sami Zayn does turn not heel, but he does something against his character, right? Like he's got this whole narrative like, I'm going to win the title and I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to get help from other people. Like that's been this whole thing he's been on for a while. And I don't want a heel Sami Zayn. We had that for a while and it was annoying, and I don't want to go back to that. But I think that moment in the smash would be great. And I think him being defeated by breaking or letting Karrion Kross break him being the weak point that Karrion Kross can take advantage of, and he wins the match, that would be great storytelling, and it would allow for more to come from this. But I want Karrion Kross to win. I think he deserves the win. I was okay. Well, at first I was upset with him losing their first match, but I was like, you know what? If this continues and he can get a big win on one of the biggest nights of wrestling, SummerSlam, then it'll be well-deserved, well-earned, and worth the wait. So I want Karrion Kross to win, and I'm very excited for this match. I'm also hoping that this is the match that opens the night. I want this match to be the match that starts the night off, starts the whole weekend off, because we have 2 nights of wrestling in SummerSlam, and I think it would just be a great entry into whatever else follows. So open the night with this match. I will be very happy. Now, night 2 predictions. I'm going to check my live chat real quick. I'm really bad about ignoring that. Nothing I need to tackle. All right. Night 2. So CBS.com, they have the first match listed, undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Street fight. My excitement for this match, My excitement for the shenanigans that'll happen during this match, yes. Let's freaking go. I'm ready for it. I want to see it. I want all the lunacy. I want this to be freaking Avengers Infinity War or Avengers. I just want some crazy stuff to go down. And I know it happens to us every PLE, but I want to see the final boss. I want to see him come down to that ring. I want it to be a mere copy of that moment where Travis Scott came out to help Cena against Cody Rhodes. But instead, it's the final boss, and John Cena starts laughing like, yeah, I got this in the bag. This is part of the plan. And then we see Cody Rhodes turn heel. I've wanted this for so long. I honestly wanted it while he was still champion. I wanted Cody Rhodes' championship reign to go for a long time. Not anywhere close to as long as Roman Reigns, but at least, get close to the 400-day mark maybe, or, go over a year. Because I thought it'd be great if, he gets tainted or spoiled to the core by having this championship, which is something CM Punk has sold, like how it gets to people and it ruins them. Literally his promo against John Cena, he pointed that out. So I think that would have been really cool, but I have been very shocked and surprised by what they've done with the championship and giving it to John Cena for this heel run. No one saw it coming. So it's been great. It's been an exciting time to be a wrestling fan, because if you look at all the speculation that this storyline has caused for every PLE, and guess what? For the most part, we've just gotten normal matches from John Cena, right? Yeah, he's not doing favorable tactics to win or whatever, but we're not getting craziness every time. We're not getting The Rock or Travis Scott or whoever's going to come down from whatever. It's just been John Cena doing his thing. And you had the little thing with R-Truth, which is cool and whatever, but it's been pretty normal. So it's funny how you do this big thing with The Rock and Travis Scott and John Cena, and it causes a year's worth of speculation on this, right? It's just running through the year. every PLE or every Raw after, we're expecting something's going to happen and nothing does. It's just heel John Cena doing his final run and that's it. And it's kind of funny because it's like, yeah, we're getting disappointed, but we're still just speculating every time. It's like we don't learn from the last time. But it's hard because this is one of the big ones, right? Like this is like WrestleMania Junior. It's SummerSlam, and it's the 2-night spectacle now, right? Just like WrestleMania. So it's on par with it. And it's just hard to believe that we're not going to get something. We're not going to get something. And I don't see them letting John Cena retire with the belt, and I don't see them letting him retire as a heel. And we've been seeing this kind of slow build to him kind of like looking at the fans and then going back, or like holding the title up before he goes back, kind of acknowledging the fans a little bit more. And it's almost like he's missing the old him. He's missing acknowledging them the way he used to. And I think if this turns out to have been a whole ploy by the final boss to get his champion, which he said his champion was Cody Rhodes. He told him that. He said, "You are my champion." We've never heard him say that John Cena is his champion. Just saying. So we heard him say that. Cody said, "Go fuck yourself." Final boss did what he had to do, got John Cena. He's utilized him. But if this was all a ploy to get Cody Rhodes to turn heel and become the champion that The Rock wants, brilliant storytelling, long-term storytelling, which we have learned in this era under Triple H is what we're getting for the most part. I'm here for it. I'm like, do it. That'd be awesome. I want heel Cody Rhodes. I want John Cena to become the John Cena that we know and love, which that's been brilliant too, because we were all like, oh, okay, we're going to get his, famous hits and he's going to go out the door. No, we've gotten John Cena with a black screen and white text, and he comes out very somber and deadpan. And it's been great because it's making us realize like, oh, we kind of miss the colors and the dancing around on stage and pointing at Stu, and like we want that now. It's funny, like the psychology of it all. We're so fickle as wrestling fans, but we're being worked very well if this is what's going to happen. So yeah, this match, not excited for it all. The shenanigans that could follow or happen during, I'm very much here for. So we'll see. Hopefully we're not disappointed again, because we have definitely expected this stuff to happen at other PLEs since WrestleMania, and it hasn't. Women's World Championship, Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. Naomi needs to keep the belt. I'm all about her character right now. I cannot stand her laugh. But I think after this, if we have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky become a tag team, that could be cool, because we need to start cooking up some better tag team division on Raw. And this is a tag team that I could see working for a while. And then eventually, if you have Rhea turn on her and become heel, like, I don't know, there's just a lot of opportunity with this. So yeah, Rhea and Io becoming a tag team, that also brings them out of always having to be in the title contention and lets somebody else come in, because we need to mix it up a little bit. I'm really tired of Rhea Ripley always being on the title picture. And now Io Sky too, like, she is so talented, but I just want other things to happen with her. I just feel like, every pay-per-view or every PLE, we see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to some degree in a title match. I'm over it. Naomi deserves this run. She cashed in. Her cash in needs to be paid off. Like, it shouldn't just be a little one-hit wonder. So yeah, I hope she retains the title and continues to be a heel, and we get some more storylines out of that. Obviously, seeing her and Jade Cargill could be awesome. Doesn't support my whole want for Jade to become a heel, but it would still be cool. And if Bianca Belair comes back, that'd be great too. Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria. I couldn't care less. Honestly, I kind of hope Becky keeps the title and becomes a baby face, and Lyra actually becomes a heel. Like, they do what they should have done in the first place. Just kind of retcon that decision. But yeah, I'm just like, whatever about that match. United States Championship, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. A steel cage match. We're getting you know what? A steel cage match in an outdoor arena, that's also pretty cool too. I don't know if we've ever seen that. So if it's kind of daylight when this happens, that'd be sweet. That'd be really cool. Very excited for this match. I do hope Solo retains. I'm a big Jacob Fatu guy, but I'm also a Solo Sikoa fan, and I want to see more of him as the title or as the United States Championship champion. Sorry, tripping on my words. Because I like him having a title. I don't think he needs to get back up to the main title contention right now. I like him being at this level, but also still just being a bad boss, like that big boss figure with a faction. It works for me. And I like the comedy that we get out of him, but then we get like this almost Samoa Joe seriousness out of him in the ring. I like it. I want to see more of it. I don't think it's time. And I think Jacob Fatu and Solo could have more story to tell past this, or they do something different with Jacob and kind of get him away from this whole bloodline story that he's kind of been adhered to. Because, it gets kind of old. Like every Samoan coming in is just attached to this. And if you look at JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb Mateo, he's not even a part of the family. He just kind of got thrown in there too. So that's been weird. Now, if Tama Tonga returns, that'd be awesome. I miss him. I know a lot of people do. Because having him, the infamous Tongaloa, who doesn't realize his first name should be his last, and then Tonga, having them behind Solo, that's awesome. JC Mateo, he can go to NXT. He needs to work on some things. I don't know. He's just filler. Just my opinion. Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Now, I feel like they've been building this up really great. I've been entertained by the segments with AJ Styles backstage stalking Dominic, waiting to see if he's been cleared yet. Like he's just gonna attack him the second he's cleared. It's been very entertaining. I don't know who I want to win. I do think AJ Styles winning, and then maybe when WWE goes to, I think they're going to France soon. Either way, AJ Styles with the Intercontinental Championship going into a match at a PLE against John Cena would be insane, especially if John Cena can win and get that Intercontinental Championship under his list of accomplishments against AJ Styles. That'd be insane. I mean, that's like a fantasy match, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but like I could see this being the step to get to that possibly, especially if John Cena's match goes the way that I'm thinking it will, or maybe somewhat goes. But I also would love Dominic to keep the Intercontinental Championship and then win the AAA title, and he's just starting to collect belts, kind of similar to Mercedes Moné on AEW. Just kind of start decorating them in belts, like get that European title back. I don't know, like give him all the belts. So I don't know, but I could also see, because he's going to get that AAA title, they don't want him to have the Intercontinental Championship, so they can really emphasize that he has this title. So yeah, we'll see what happens. WWE Tag Team Championship match. I think it's funny that this is the last one they have listed, because like I said, I think this could be the biggest match of the week, or one of the top three, and maybe one of the top matches of the year. Listen to this lineup, all right? So we got the Wyatt Six, which is they're being represented by Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Andrade and Rey Fenix, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, DIY, Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom, Motor City Machine Guns. Some OG vets in there, man. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. And in the Street, it's Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford in a TLC match. All of this talent in the ring at the same time with tables, ladders, and chairs. First off, if there's not at least one person who gets injured, I will be amazed. This match is screaming someone's going to get injured. Kind of like when we had the Bloodline Civil War at War Games and Survivor Series. That's the reason Tama Tonga is out right now. And, Jimmy Uso broke his toe or his foot, and Bronson Reed was out for a while. Like, we had a bunch of injuries that came out of that match, and this is on par with that. I mean, so much talent in the ring. You also have the Wyatts, who could have more people from their faction come down and get involved. There's going to be some crazy spots, crazy action. I'm here for it. Like I said, I don't care who wins. Because of what I mentioned, I do see the Wyatts retaining the titles, which I'm fine with that. Like I said, I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. This match is going to be so entertaining. It'll definitely be one of the highlights of the weekend. There's just no way it's not. There's no way they don't have a bunch of crazy spots. And there's so many athletic people in here, like Andrade in ladder matches, crazy. Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin have had crazy ladder matches or TLC matches. Montez Ford can jump over the entire arena if he really tries. And then you got Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy, who are very athletically gifted for guys of their stature, especially Joe Gacy. So yeah, I'm just here for it. I'm here for it. And then you got Tommaso Ciampa, who's jacked. Johnny Organo, who's just great in the ring. Axiom, I don't know. It's crazy. Nathan Frazier, they're all, I don't know. This match is going to be insane. So very excited for it. I want to get back to theories I've heard about some things. So obviously Seth Rollins is a big question mark. People are wondering how legit the injury is, if the injury is as bad as they've been saying, and he could still play a role at SummerSlam and cashing in, and they could play their cards right to where when he does have to have a match, he'll be fully healed and ready to go. But the question is, the undisputed WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight title? Here's my thoughts on this. Seth Rollins has absolutely nothing to gain out of cashing in on either John Cena or Cody Rhodes. However, it would be a complete shock to the system. It would change everything. And if Cody Rhodes' heel turn does not happen at SummerSlam, but he wins the title and Seth Rollins cashes in on him, or it becomes a triple threat to where Seth Rollins can pin one of them and get either way. Because of the history that Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes have, I could see that sparking a heel turn in Cody Rhodes. Now, if not, fine. Play into the Punk thing. He cashes in for the World Heavyweight title. But my only thing with that is it's too predictable. And I think we're being well trained to not expect the expected. Even though we don't learn from that, I'm trying really hard to apply that train of thought. And obviously, we've had WWE release the very controversial miniseries on Netflix, Unreal, I believe it's called, where they're basically checking myself. Yeah, Unreal. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to, which I'll tell you guys about in a minute, but that's been controversial because they're showing how things are done backstage. I did see a clip of them deciding how WrestleMania was going to go last year, and it sounded like Punk was going to go over, be a big feel-good moment, especially since he had to miss the WrestleMania before due to his injury with his tricep. Like, almost everyone was on board with it. And then they toss out, Jey Uso, who's very much hot and coming up with the yeet and just the crowds. Like, he didn't have to do promos, he was just so freaking over. He still is, which is what's funny about like him not rocking the yeet gear anymore. I was at the last Monday Night Raw where he wore his yeet gear. So that's a cool thing. But yeah, he's just been wearing black clothes and white gym shoes, and besides his yeet shades, he's been on a new course, it seems. So but anyways, point being, we're seeing how they decide things backstage, and there's emphasis just in the clip I saw on doing something that's not predictable, right? Like Michael Hayes is interview, because he's the one that brings up Jey Uso, and he's talking about like blah 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 blah, and it's just like, okay, like they're putting a lot of thought into this stuff, and I appreciate it. I know it's been controversial because that clip's gone viral. Like, people are upset we didn't get to that WrestleMania. People are like, it could have been the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and it's like, you know what? The year prior, we were saying that every WrestleMania can't be the greatest WrestleMania ever. I enjoyed last year's WrestleMania. It was mostly a bust, but I still enjoyed it. It's always fun to watch it. The speculation, the anticipation for things, it's fun just to feel that, right? Whether you get let down or not. And they had surprises. We did not think it was going to be Yeetamania. We didn't think Jey Uso was going to win the title, right? Like, that was a shocker. And then, of course, Joe Hendry came out, had a moment with Randy Orton. That was cool. It was cool, even as someone who's bored of Joe Hendry. But we still got fed some surprises, and there were some entertaining moments. So, like, I don't know. I always enjoy the show, even if I'm let down. The fact that I got to even experience this anticipation and excitement, I don't take that for granted, like, because I can't say that all the wrestling companies right now are doing that for me, right? That's why I'm not watching them regularly. But it's also been controversial because people are, I haven't watched it. I'm not going to talk about anything else because I know a lot of people are not happy with it existing or finding, and it's like, come on, we're very much privy to the fact that this is happening backstage. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. I think it's cool. I like knowing how the sausage is made, right? Like, I'm a creative guy. I'm working on a movie right now. I've already made a short film, which you can find on our YouTube channel, Married to Crow. But I like that kind of stuff. And you can learn from seeing how other people do creative process. So I'm excited to watch it, and I'll get into that. So this weekend, I'm excited about this, but I'm watching SummerSlam with my buddies on Sunday. We're just going to do an entire wrestling day. Now, the cool thing about this is it's not intentional. One of my buddies is potentially meeting Joe Burrow and maybe some other people for the Bengals. So, yeah, slightly jealous about that. But he will not be available to watch SummerSlam. And I always watch. I have a group, like a lot of people that I watch my wrestling with. So we were just like, hey, you know what? We can just watch a replay on Sunday and just have an epic Sunday SummerSlam event, right? Well, because of work schedules, we also haven't been able to watch Unreal. So we were like, hey, you know what? We can all just watch that together Sunday. So Sunday, we're going to watch Unreal, and then we're going to watch night one of SummerSlam, and we're going to time it so right when it ends, we might have like a 30-minute window, but it's going to end, and then we're going to be able to watch night two of SummerSlam live. So that's going to be cool. The only thing that's going to suck is I got to stay off social media Saturday night around 6:30 until I'm done with night one on Sunday, but that won't be a big deal. And this will not affect our episode this Sunday for the podcast because we're doing it at 10 a.m. We're going to get on here 2 hours earlier, and we're going to do our because Dimitri has some stuff to get to, and it just works out better. And for me now too, because I'm going to have this whole day of wrestling. So yeah, Sunday, 10 a.m. We're going to have a special early episode of IFSM podcast. And we are still on the fence about what we're doing because we have a full slate of episodes scheduled, but the problem is we have guests and they aren't committing to this like we would hope. And that's fine. I know life happens. Not everyone wants to sit down and talk about things. But we enjoy it, right? So we're kind of like, hey, if we extend the invite and you say you're down, like follow through. But I will say with this Sunday, the original person is a committed churchgoer. And I knew as soon as we decided we had to go at 10, he wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm not holding any fault against him. But then we had somebody else, and now we're not even getting responses. And I'm just like, all right. So we do have a plan B, but we're waiting to see what happens. We've also put some feelers out for other people that we had scheduled down the road and like, hey, would you mind doing this episode earlier than we planned? So we'll see what happens. But we are going to have a full episode Sunday. So my whole day of wrestling will not affect our Ivestone podcast. So yeah, this has been my recap for wrestling in the past week or so. And like I said, going forward, guys, I'm just going to be doing WWE, Monday Night Raw, NXT, Friday Night SmackDown. If there's anything worth mentioning from TNA, I will, because we do have the cross-brand stuff going on. And I am excited for Bound of Glory. I am going to watch that. That's like TNA's WrestleMania. They've done a good job of starting some early build-up hype for that. So my hat's off to them. So I will kind of keep in touch with TNA. AEW, I'm good. There's talent there, and I hope one day they can go somewhere else, but I don't want to give that company any of my time or any of my money. I don't like it. It's not for me anymore. It used to be, but it's like they stopped growing. I don't know. So that's fine. Not everything's for everybody. The good thing is we live in a time where there is so much wrestling that if I don't like one thing, well, there's plenty of other things. There's plenty of other options, right? So it's a exciting time to be a wrestling fan. But this will conclude my episode of WWE Evening for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to hear what your thoughts are for SummerSlam this weekend, what predictions you have, theories that you've heard. I didn't really get into all the theories that I've heard, but unfortunately I am running out of time. I got to go and get dinner rolling. So yeah, let me know down below what you guys think. Are you excited? Are you not? What are you hoping to see? What are you hoping you don't see? Let me know down below. Go ahead and hit that thumb on hand, whether it's up or down. Doesn't matter as long as you subscribe, because then that way you can tune in every week or get notified about when I'm on here. And maybe you can come tell me what you think in the live chat. And then that'll make me commit to an actual schedule with this. Because unlike our Sunday episode, this is like every week's a gamble. It's a roll the dice, see where I land. Now I will say with me not covering AEW, that'll make things a little easier. AEW and TNA regularly, it'll make things a little easier because I'll probably just do what I originally wanted to do, which is a Tuesday episode where I talk about, or actually no, I'll probably do Wednesday because that way I can talk about Friday SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, Tuesday NXT. I think I would like that layout. So Wednesday will probably be what I try to do still. This week it didn't work out, but yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Always appreciate your time. And I do want to recommend checking out Chris Van Vliet. It's my favorite wrestling podcast. And then also Under the Bell. Or no, sorry, 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker. That podcast is a hit or miss for me. But he had Shawn Michaels on for his latest episode, and it was very interesting, but also cool. Just getting to listen to them kind of shoot the shit and reminisce about the old days, and something that The Undertaker lied to Shawn Michaels about, which Shawn Michaels tackles on the podcast, and it's pretty entertaining. So highly recommend checking that out. And yeah, like I said, Chris Van Vliet is just my favorite wrestling podcast. So always check him out. And then somebody who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I do enjoy his podcast sometimes, is Chris Jericho. Talk is Jericho had Samoa Joe on. And it was very interesting listening to him talk because I don't feel like you get the opportunity to hear him talk too much outside of wrestling. And there was a little bit of a tease that we could see him back in WB one day. It was very, very vague. It wasn't direct, but it was him reminiscing about his time there and how cool it was to get to interact with Paul Heyman. And he says, yeah, we'll see what the future holds. And that was kind of it. And I'm just like, yeah, what does it hold? Because I've always said that he is one of the most, if not the most, underutilized talent that has ever been in WWE's clutches. I mean, that guy is just so good all around. I've been a fan of him since he debuted in TNA in 2004, 5, around that time. But yeah, I love Samoa Joe. Big fan of his. I hate that he's in AEW. But yeah, if he comes back to WB, that'd be awesome. So anyways, I'm rambling. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys this Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Eye of Stone. And then, of course, next Wednesday, possibly another episode of WWEvening where we'll be covering the aftermath of SummerSlam and the following Raw and TNA. So stick around for all that. Oh, and this Friday's SmackDown, but that's going to be a probably throwaway show, light build up to SummerSlam. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Catch you later. Peace.